Yeah, so I've been like sitting here for a minute trying to figure out how exactly I want to start this. Because it's like really weird. This is like really far outside of my wheelhouse, right? Usually I play like games and don't really have a history behind them, but like this one's like really weird. So I think by now most people online would know me by two handles, which are ZetaByt and Exhibit. But I have been a semi-active player on this game for a very, very long time under the name Dragon RS. Now one would ask, how do you get ZetaByt out of Dragon RS? And let me tell you, the RS stands for RuneScape, okay? So, back when I had made the account, I think I used a different name. So this is like complicated, right? So back then I had a different account for this game, right? And I lost the password to that account, but it didn't really matter. I didn't get that far into that like character, so it doesn't really matter. That character's lost. I eventually did get back into that account. That is the account that I use on the forum, which has a different username. But I then made a second account, right, which is this one. So technically, by all accounts, this is my alt account, but on RuneScape, I used the name. It was like Dragon with 4 eyes and a 12. It was a standard generated RuneScape name. But I had to shorten it, right? Back then, I think the character limit for what a username could be was a lot more strict, and I believe when I tried to put that username in to use it for this game, and you know what, I'm glad that it was like this. I'm pretty sure when I tried to put that username in the game, it would stop at the 1. That was a character limit. Whatever that was, I think. And then I settled on Dragon RS to try to like connect that to my RuneScape account, which doesn't really matter now because my RuneScape account has a completely different name, unrelated to anything. I decided to snatch the name Riftengard. It doesn't really matter. That account is... I don't really play that much anymore on RuneScape. Occasionally I'll like have an itch. Sometimes I'll get like membership and do clue scrolls. It doesn't really matter. Not really like a rich character either. It's like 20 mil on that one. But you know, you'd think for an account being from 2008 or 2009, I actually don't know how old that account is. It was either 2008 or 2009 when I made that one, the RuneScape account. You'd think that account would be richer, but I'm getting like sidetracked, so I settled on the name Dragon RS, which is this character. The time played is pretty low. I'm known for taking extended breaks from this game, but as you can see on the trainer card, the issue date is September 11th, 2012. So yeah, this is an old character, and you know, you would think this character would be a lot richer than he is, but I have made many mistakes over the years. But yeah, so this is a very old character. I don't know what like the oldest active account is, but I'm sure this one has to be like up there, right? I think a lot of the ones that I've seen from 2012 are like December. I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of the backstory behind this character. As you can see, I don't really have like a big money stack. And if we go to the bag, right, like I have all these ocarinas. I am fortunate enough to have bought these when they were like 300,000 each. Ocarinas were like I'm not gonna say super cheap because that's still a lot of money, but when you look up ocarinas now, they're like 500k, so I made a pretty good investment there, I think. You know, there's a lot of like stuff that I've collected, a lot of stuff that I've like farmed. We got like some particles here because I got into like a bit of a particle collecting phase. I had more than this, but I've used some of them. I've sold some of them off. I got like all these fireworks. It's great. You know, not really anything special there. Nothing there. We got the Mystery of Jumpeon and the Jumpstone. You want to see what these do? The Jumpstone does this. It makes you jump. That was like an April Fool's gag. The book does this. This will take a bit. I think some people would be kind of curious to see what this book does, and here you go. And there's the Mystery of Jumpeon. Did you like it? I don't know. The interesting thing, I guess, is like, I think if I use this too much, it has like a cooldown. This doesn't, because, you know, but these were like April Fool's items. We got like this section. I have 2 Master Balls, even though I've done like... How many regions are there now? There's like 5, right? I've done like 4 of them. Yeah, I think I've done 4, and there's 2 Master Balls missing. We'll get to that later. Got like this. There's nothing special here, you know? Nothing special here. I don't really do berry farming or anything. I probably should, but like, I'm really bad at multitasking. Then you get to the fun tab here, which is cosmetics. Now, to preface this, I don't have any of the super rare, expensive old vanities. I used to have them way back when they were introduced. I sold a lot of those off to like friends and stuff, and as you can tell, a lot of these friends don't play anymore. So there's a good chance that whoever I sold these to, those items, they're probably not playing anymore. So, you know. But, you know, you got, like, that. There's, the Dark Elfbot hat, which I'm surprised that this has not shot up in price, because I think this is a very good-looking Elfbot hat. Maybe there's just too many of them out there. I don't know. Seems weird. You got the Ecto Goggles. These, like, look alright. I don't know. I collected a bunch of the 10th anniversary stuff when that was around. I have 2 of these flying Elfbot hats. I used to have 3. I sold one of them off, and I'm kind of not happy with that, but I figure I'll eventually get that money back. I sold it for like, because back then when I sold it, it was like a 4 mil hat, I think. And now when you look them up, now, they've like spiked ridiculously high. I don't understand it. When this hat came out, this was like one of the least expensive hats. And now it's like this. It's kind of weird. So there's that. I have like the ice cream hood. I've thought about recoloring this. I don't know. I got the Ice Elfbot hat, which I think is like 2 mil now. It's like 2 or... How much is that one? I'm gonna be like doing this kind of... Yeah, it's like 1.6 mil. This has not really changed in price a lot, weirdly. Again, I'm kind of surprised. I think that would eventually change over time, but it's just kind of weird to me that those have not shot up. I did not take part in the 2023 Halloween event. I kind of stopped doing Halloween events, to be honest. I might go back to doing them this year, but like I just kind of stopped. I got kind of bored. But I picked this up for a specific reason. I have like the Pharaoh outfit. It's not really worth a whole lot. I think they're like 350k a piece, something like that. I don't know what the deal with this is. I think I got this from like a goodie bag or something. I have like 3 different of these hats, which I don't know. PokeMMO caps kind of seem to like fluctuate a lot depending on the color. I picked this up when it came out, kind of regretting it, but at the same time, I think this is a long haul sort of thing. I think eventually this will go back up. It just kind of depends. Got like the pumpkin outfit. The scary hockey mask. This is, in my opinion, the best vanity that they've ever made. Personally, I know there's like other ones that are like arguably some people would say better, but I do think this is like my favorite one. And I picked this one up. I don't know, I just thought it looked kind of cool. I have like a pair of sunglasses, which, you know, I think this is my normal outfit. It's like the cowboy hat, the sunglasses, the cape, gloves, and an overcoat. I think this is like the original backpack that I had, but for some reason it's silver. I think when I got this originally it wasn't silver. I don't remember if these had different colors or not, but it's like interesting here. There's like the cape again. I mentioned that I have like the Pharaoh outfit. I picked up that. I have like this. I'm not really a fan of it, but like I don't know. I don't know why it's worth as much as it is personally, but then there's this. The pumpkin backpack. I don't really like it. I don't really wear it a lot, right? It's not really my favorite vanity, and I kind of really wish I could get, like, I wish I could, like, sell this to someone that would actually use it, but I can't because it's an untradeable boss rare. I'm kind of bummed out by it, to be honest, because I'm sure someone else would want to buy this and would actually want to use it, but, you know, you can't sell the pumpkin rewards, but you can defeat pumpkin, get particles, and then sell the particles, even though, from what I remember, the original reason that you couldn't sell the vanities was because they didn't want people profiting off of the pumpkin rewards, but then they went and did that, so they went and made it so that you get like these exclusive particles for killing pumpkin, and then people farmed them to sell. So, kind of, the logic doesn't kind of hold up anymore. It's kind of stupid, but I digress, I guess. It like doesn't even really look that good in my opinion. The end to the top's a black pinstripe suit. I don't like this one either. Again, if I could sell it, I would. But I can't, so I'm not gonna go back into that rant because, again, it's stupid. I got like all these 10th anniversary things. I feel like if over time those will probably go up, but I don't know, they seem really cheap right now. There's not really a whole lot in this one. It's like interesting. Again, there's like the pumpkin costume. I got like the gloves, and this is kind of the weird one. This is like a really expensive one for some reason compared to everything else, which kind of does give me hope that eventually this one will climb. Then I have a black bicycle because, you know, it goes with everything else. So yeah, that's like the inventory for the character outside of like one item that is on this Flygon here. But I kind of wanted to transition to my PC, which is actually, I would say my PC is mildly more interesting than like my cosmetics section. So I'm gonna like switch to that now. But yeah, so what exactly does my PC look like? I feel like if any like in-game player actually knows me, they've seen most of my collection. I tend to show it off quite a bit. Outside of maybe like the competitive Pokemon that I don't use. Those don't really get shown off a lot. So what do I have? So the way my PC is set up is I have a bunch of like sections for like breeding stuff, because like that's kind of like a big money sink for me. It's like breeding. B1 is just like a catch tab, and then this is like the overflow. I actually need to like organize this, like maybe like sell a couple things. I've been like getting into those like Pokeball things, those mysterious Pokeballs. Just like occasionally, not like how my gambling habit used to be. So yeah, I have to like sort this and figure out if I can like sell any of this. I'm sure I could. I'm sure these have some amount of value to them. I don't know. We got like the field tab. There's like these are just like breeders. If I ever like need space, I'll clear one of these, sell a bunch of these off, and change the tab name. I'm not really worried about space. I used to have like a water B tab, but I think I removed it because it was not really doing anything. I think actually, yeah, I merged my dragon breeders with water B by just going for Magikarps. That's what it was. Then you get these like back 4 tabs over here. We're gonna start with this one because this honestly isn't like that interesting. It's just a bunch of alphas that I caught before they like changed how alphas worked. I'll probably end up selling this tab. Outside of like this, the event Bulbasaur from the anniversary. I'll probably end up keeping this. I don't like, how much are these worth now? How much are these worth? Like lowest price, how much? Oh. Okay, yeah, I'll just hold on to that. There's like not really a whole lot in here that's like I said, this whole tab's probably just gonna get sold. Because I'm sure some people would buy these if I price them right. I don't really know this whole like thing here. So that's the alpha tab. We're gonna go for this one, WHOF. So these are Hall of Fame tabs, as I've called them. I occasionally like collect Pokemon that I have Hall of Famed. We got like the Zapdos that's like currently roaming around. I got extremely lucky in encountering this. Some people have apparently had really bad luck encountering this, but I managed to find one after like, I don't know, like a collective maybe like an hour and a half of not really looking. That's neat. Yeah, so that's neat. We'll start like here, maybe? I think this is just the generic starter for Unova. Yeah, the gift starter, we'll just like move them in the corner. This, I think, is also a gift starter. I don't have... I think I had a Swampert. I don't have it anymore, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I released it like a maniac. I just wanted to expand on this a bit. So when Hoenn was introduced, I'm pretty sure they introduced the gift ribbon for starters, and they didn't quite have the foresight to make it so that the gift starters were 15 across the board with like a neutral nature. So you got like a random roll on your starter on both the nature and the IVs, and I got the absolute worst of the worst in that regard. So that's why it wasn't like a I just released it because I could thing. It was more of a I released it because it really wasn't that good and I didn't feel like keeping it. So yeah. This is a recent catch. I just like the IV spread. I think it's nice. We got like a bunch of like high IV Pokemon over here, right? This line here is like a bunch of high IV Pokemon. I think to date, this is the single best catch that I've had. 167. This corner over here is a Hall of Infamy. Pokemon that I have put here because they're notoriously awful. We got like this, like for instance, we got like the Spinda with this. It's great. It's great. We'll come back to this later. I'm gonna come back to this tab, I think, because there's some stuff here that I think I can go over in more detail. These up here go in line with the old tab. So these two Pokemon are from 2012, these two are from 2013. These are my OTs. I don't really have that many OT Pokemon from 2012 anymore. I sold a lot of them off when the breeding craze happened in 2013. And, you know, when the GTL and stuff like happened, I sold a lot of stuff off when that happened. So yeah, there's the Aerodactyl, which I didn't know about these IVs when I got this originally. I just kind of had this sitting in the box doing nothing at level 5 because I just didn't feel like training it. Turns out when the IV scanner came out, which, because, you know, I didn't want to calculate my IVs either. I'm a lazy piece of shit at times. When the IV scanner came around, because that was like a thing that I don't think anybody like outside of like old players would remember that. The IV scanner, where it would like, it was like an external program and you would like hit a button and it would like go through a bunch of these different tabs and then it would like calculate out your IVs. That's how I learned that this was a 31 attack and speed Aerodactyl that was also hasty. Before that, I had like no clue. So, thanks IV scanner. Great tool. But yeah, there's things in here that I don't know what I would do with, right? Sorry, I'm just watching something. My monitor might be dying. Anyway, I'll have to get that looked at later. Maybe it's a fluke. There's like things in here that I kind of want to know the value of, but at the same time, I don't really know anyone in the community at this point that I can like get estimates of. Like, I would love to know how much a semi-competitive Aerodactyl is from 2012, but I don't know the right people to get that answer. In a similar vein, we got this Dragonite here. On the surface, nothing really stands out about it. It's, you know, it's a 2012 as well. Nothing really, like, stands out about it until you go to the EV section. I have heard that 255 EV Pokemon are very expensive, and for all accounts, this one was kind of an accident. This Dragonite is the one that I took with me to beat the Elite Four in Kanto, which is why this has a defense EV of 255, because it killed a lot of would it have been Gravelers at the time? Probably. It killed a lot of like Pokemon on Victory Road that gave defense EVs. And then I ended up steamrolling the Elite Four because everything was like over leveled. We didn't really have like level caps back then. So Elite Four was like, the story was like super easy because you just like over level all of your stuff and just steamroll everything. You can't do that anymore, but there was a time where you used to be able to do that. As I said, these two are from 2013. This Gengar, so I had another Gengar before this. I sold that one off. His name was Duke. I've made another one and renamed that one to Duke. That Gengar would have been a 2012. But this one is a 2013 that I have used in like PvP before, like PvP battles, because like it's not a bad like Gengar. I just don't know what to do with it because like my plan when we get to this tab here, I'll explain this more, but I don't really know what to do with this because I did say that I have another Gengar. I'm planning on getting that Gengar to level 100, and I don't really know what I'm gonna do with this one. And then you get the Tyranitar, which for a while, this was my single best catch in the game. This changed over time, you know, but I use this one a lot in like PvP and stuff, like player battles. So this one has a bit of like history behind it, you know, at least for me. I said we'll come back to the shinies later. Yeah, we'll come back to this later because again, there's some like stuff here that I could like go in depth about. But we're gonna move on here. This is what I call the Breeding Hall of Fame, or where I put most of my competitive Pokemon and utility Pokemon. You got like, I want to get rid of this. I want to sell this Octillery. It's not like, all these Pokemon are like relatively new. I say relatively, this one's from 2017. But, you know, every time you like try to look up Pokemon on the GTL, sometimes they're just not there. This is like, this was like the alpha Spinda that I had going around for a bit, for like alpha battles. I don't really do alpha battles anymore. It's like whatever. We got like the two Meowths down here, you know, for paydaying. Not really anything special. Actually, I don't even, is this one even? No, this one's not even bred. Why is it in here? And then this one's definitely not bred. But yeah, we'll just move those over now. This Whismur doesn't really make a lot of sense at the moment. You see the name Ned 2, this will come up later. So we got like, you know, all of like my utility Pokemon just kind of sitting here in the corner. I kind of have like, I've been like in Challenger's Cave for like the past like a while. I don't know exactly how long, but like what the collective time is, I have no clue. It's a lot, but I've been in that cave for a while looking for something. Have not found it yet. It's great. I'm probably gonna get rid of these. These were originally low-level Thiefmons before they changed how the thief mechanic worked. I'm probably gonna sell these off at some point. They're not like, I don't think these are worth anything, but you know, I don't use them, so someone else might get more mileage out of them. I think this was a breeding project that I ended up not doing. Maybe I'll get back around to it. Again, I think I was gonna do something similar to this, but then, you know, you got like the Banette with Frisk, so it's kind of a pointless Pokemon. I'll probably end up selling that. And then down here is like where I keep, like this section here is just like a bunch of competitive-ish Pokemon that I've bred over time. We got like this Gliscor. have not figured out, like most of the stuff I've not really figured out what I'm going to do with. There's like the Ghastly down here. We got, you know, a few 531s. This is not a 531. I got kind of lazy with this one. It's still usable, but I got lazy. This is, you notice like a trend. I get kind of lazy when I'm like breeding things. Sometimes I'll just use whatever I have on hand and hope it works, and sometimes it ends up working. Other times, not so much. But as you can tell, I have a lot of these. I figure if I'm ever in like a pinch for money, this name doesn't really make a lot of sense right now, but I'll just go over this now. The name for this is, you know, Fidel Castro. I called it that because, you know, Iron Fist sort of thing. I don't know. It's a stupid name. I'll probably end up changing it later. But yeah, this is, I'll go over this in a second. There's like a bunch of stuff here that I would probably end up selling if I really needed the money, but so far I've not really needed the money, so it hasn't really come up that I would need to emergency sell anything. I did used to have a Ferrothorn. I did sell that because I needed the money for a different breed, and I figure I'm not using the Ferrothorn, so I'll just swap it out. And I don't remember which Pokemon that was. Might have been this one, actually. I don't remember. But, so these two. I'll go over this one first. The OT for this one is an old, like, CM, I think. He's since, I think, changed his name. But he's still... I don't know if the word... I don't know if, like, semi-active would be the right word, but he sometimes logs in and then logs back off. I think it's just to check his account. I don't know. And then this... This is Krampus, the Hydreigon. You know, most of this looks fairly standard. It's a 531. It's a modest, yeah, pretty standard stuff. Then you get to the hatch location. Again, I don't know how much something like this would be worth. I'm not planning on selling it, but I would like to know the value. But, yeah, so this is a North Pole hatched Hydreigon. I used to have so many Pokemon that I used to have so many Pokemon that I hatched in the North Pole, specifically to get the North Pole hatch location. I sold pretty much all of them as like novelty Pokemon months later after the event was done, because I figured, you know, 2018, they'll probably bring back the North Pole. They did not bring back the North Pole, in fact, and I'm sure those Pokemon would have been worth something. So that's, yeah, I wonder if any of those survived. Actually, I wonder if anything with my OT that I have sold or traded off over the years have survived. I kind of doubt it, but it would be interesting to know. Yeah, it's like, I think that's that tab done. I think I had planned to make whatever Pokemon it's like the max evolution is. I don't remember. Might get around to that later. So yeah, that's like this tab done. There's like some stuff in here that I would like. I don't consider myself to be like a particularly rich player, but I'm sure there's some stuff in here that I could sell for very easy money if I'm like really, if I like really wanted to. But I'm not really desperate enough to do that. I think I went over this tab, said that it would just sell most of this because I'm not using any of this. Like, I think this was my best catch here, and like there's a Caterpie in the Wild Hall of Fame that has beaten this by 2 points, so like I'll probably end up keeping that, keeping these, and then the rest of this will probably end up getting sold. Or maybe like, I don't know, maybe I'll probably end up selling them. So, yeah, that's this tab done. I've basically gone over everything except the Shinies and this tab. So as I said, I don't have that many Pokemon that are my OT. I think these are my OT. This is my OT. This is my OT. This. Those are not, technically. So a lot of this stuff is, I think this one might be? Yeah. So a lot of this stuff is 2012s and 2013s. I think the newest Pokemon that is in here is from, well, so before I added these, which these are all from 2015, I think the newest Pokemon was, oh man, where is he? Here? Yeah. So these are from 2015. This is from 2014. This is a Bagon from the Altering Cave. It's like not really anything special. I figure when 2025 rolls around and there's like the 10-year Hoenn anniversary, these might be worth something, but I'm not really holding my breath on it. This is my original Metagross Fidel Castro Mark 1. I use this one a bit in like PvP battles. And I have, you know, I have like the new one, so not really any reason to use it, but I'm keeping it because, again, might be worth something in the future. You got like, yeah, so as I said, this is my original starter. This is from 2012. And so this is my original starter. These are my alt accounts. I was smart enough to keep all, well, I don't know if it was really smart enough or I just didn't care enough, but all of these most of these 2012s are from my alt account. They're not actually mine. They belong to my alts, technically. I've just moved them over to keep, like, you know, tabs on it, rather than just have them sit in the alt accounts that aren't really being used. There's like some fun stuff here, I guess. I don't know. 2012s are, like, weird right now. Like, the lowest 2012 as of recording this is, like, that. So there's quite a bit of money in this tab, I think. But I'm probably, again, going to end up holding on to a good chunk of this. You got, like, these Cacneas. So, from what I remember, there was, like, a Halloween or, like, an autumn event in 2012. There's also, like, a winter event, but I don't really, like, I have, like, the Spinda from that. There was also a Feebas from this, but I don't have the Feebas. I used to. I sold it for, like, 200k. I think somebody ended up using it for a breed, so it's probably not around anymore. That's the point. We got like 2 of these Cacneas, you know. I think this was part of the Halloween event. I don't remember, but I don't think... I think when... in 2012, I don't think the Dnite system worked quite... It either didn't work at all, or it didn't work as well as it does now. So I don't think there were nocturnal Pokemon, at least I don't remember. But I think this was a Halloween Pokemon. And as I said, this was like, so they didn't do a Christmas event if I remember, they called it a winter event, I believe. So there was like this, I think like Feebas. As I said, I had a Feebas, I sold it. Ah, there was more. There was like a snow-themed Pokemon? God, let me look at my decks real quick, see if I can point it out. Sometimes I'll look at this and remember what the Pokemon was. Oh yeah, there was, I think Sharpedo was part of either... He was either part of the Halloween or the winter event, I can't remember which one. But I think there are like Carvanas and Sharpedos from 2012, at least. Maybe. Not entirely sure about that one. So from what I remember, the theme of the winter event was Pokemon that were either snow-like or toy-like, which is why Spinda was a part of that. And Feebas was like the weird exception, what I remember. I think Feebas was just because it was like a popular demand thing, which was really funny because Milotic wasn't implemented, so Feebas was, you know, you couldn't like evolve the Feebas. People were actively asking for Prism Scale to evolve their Feebas into a Milotic. That didn't happen. We'll get to that. They, you know, went with the system that was like the Pokeblocks to evolve your Milotic, or evolve your Feebas into a Milotic. I don't have my original Hitmon, but my alts apparently had one of each. I think I had a Hitmonchan. It was, I think it was a Hitmonchan because I took it because, you know, elemental punches, future-proofing for later. And I ended up selling it. I can't remember if I sold it because it had a good, I think because I had like a 31. The 31s back then were highly desirable at a point. Kind of like now, but like, yeah, I like vaguely remember the stats of it being pretty good. I think it had like a decent nature. I sold it. Maybe actually, I don't think I sold it way back then, but I think I sold it like maybe 2014 or 2015. So there's a chance that the Pokemon's still around, but I doubt it. And this is like a fun thing. So you remember I said this is like my starter, right? This is my starter. This is the one starter that you got because back then, the wild Pokemon locations for starters didn't exist. Pretty sure. I think all of my research for that has pointed to, the Kanto starters existing in Sevi in 2015, starting at 2015. It was Squirtle at Cape Brink, Charmander in the Volcano, and Bulbasaur was in the Berry Forest, I think? And I don't think Charmander or Bulbasaur are where they used to be. I think Squirtle might still be at Cape Brink. But that was like 2015, so this is a 2012, you know? This is a 2012 starter. This is my original starter. And then you look at this, right? So this has my OT. And it's from 2013. So what's up with that? I had a Venusaur. Again, I sold it. Needed gambling money, you know. But I had the Venusaur, it's gone. Probably doesn't exist anymore. But so how do I have two starters with my OT? And they both say Met and Kanto. Well, the information tab, from what I remember, from what I was told, is that this Met and Kanto, like the date and time thing, from what I've been told, is like, this is like some sort of like metadata thing from when this was implemented, but players couldn't actually see it. And then in 2013, late 2013, like October 2013, I did my research on this. October of 2013, they introduced the actual information tab, which housed the time and date that you caught your Pokemon and the location. My theory behind this, and this is why I've called this BikeMMO clone, my theory behind this is that I traded for my alt accounts starters and bred them with a Ditto to get a Bulbasaur of my OT and a Charmander of my OT, so that I had all three starters as my OT. But so this is like, I don't know how many of these would be like documented. And this is like the weird thing, right? Because like in 2013 breeding was introduced, but hatched Pokemon they didn't really mark themselves as a hatched Pokemon until October. So there's like this weird window between like June and sometime in October where a Pokemon from 2013 could just very well be a hatch. I don't think it has any like intrinsic value difference. It's just a weird thing. But for all intents and purposes, this is probably what I would consider a bit of a piece of history within the game, because it's like, I'm not going to say the only instance of an actual potentially documented like BikeMMO Pokemon that has survived this long, but it's definitely interesting. It was like that. God, see how often I say certain things. This Blastoise is from another alt account. It's newer. I think in total there are 9 alt player profiles that I have. 3 of them I don't remember where they're at. So there's just 3 random player profiles, I think, from 2013 that could just have a bunch of Pokemon in them. I don't remember the info behind whatever account that is. I have like vague memories of this account existing, but I know of at least 6 alt accounts. 3 of them are like newer. They're because I eventually did get access to my first account back, and I think I may have used those. But this is one of my like 9 alt accounts that exist out there. And I'll probably end up getting rid of this at some point because I don't really care about this account that much. I'll probably end up getting rid of it. How much is a Blastoise right now? Just curious. 2013s I don't think are nearly as expensive. Oh, there's no Blastoise, it's good. There's no Squirtles, there's no Wartortles, there's no Blastoises. That's great. That's some good shit. I guess I could just charge whatever I want. I'm not gonna do that. That'd be awful. I think really the only thing in this 2013 crowd outside of that that's like even remotely interesting is this. This is Old Plant. This is a Lotad from 2013 that is met in Kanto. You want to see something interesting? As if this whole PC hasn't been like somewhat mildly interesting. So here's Lotad in the Pokedex. Notice, there is no Kanto location that you can get a Lotad. So I had to do some research to figure out where this Lotad came from. And I have a bit of factual stuff related to this, and I have a bit of a theory as to where it came from. But anyway, the factual thing is that in like March 27th, which is like the day after, like the day before this, they did a spring event. I don't remember what Pokemon were in this spring event for, you know, March of 2013 to like April or May or whenever, how long it ran. I don't remember what Pokemon were a part of it, but this Lotad most likely was a part of that event. So this is a spring event exclusive Lotad, I'm pretty sure. And my theory as to which island it came from is Isle 5. I don't know why, but for some reason that sounds right. Maybe it's like triggering some part of my like memory bank, my memories, you know? And it's like that's like the subconscious response that I want to give. I can't, like I said, I can't remember what all Pokemon were a part of this, and I don't think that many of these spring event Pokemon actually survived. But part of me really, really wants to say that Chingling and Chimecho were a part of this event as well. I'm not sure. There's like no, outside of the fact that the event existed and Pokemon was part of it, there's like no info on this event. which is like really, really weird. There's like a lot of weird undocumented history in this game. Like a lot of weird things that I could actually talk about. Sorry about that pause. So yeah, I think that's this tab done. It's like I said, there's like, I have like a mill tank named Mewtwo. It came from the Safari Zone. I have this Flygon, which, it's actually not a bad Flygon, but I don't think these 2015 Pokemon are like worth anything right now. I don't think they are. I don't think they will be worth anything until the next year, but like, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. There's like I said, there's like this Bagon from 2014 that I caught in Altering Cave, which actually is my OT, very weirdly. I don't think 2014s are worth anything either. And the lowest price, like 13,000. Okay, so they're climbing. There's like probably not going to be any Bagons. There's like a Salamence for a mill. Yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff in here that I really wish I could like get a price estimate on, but like I said, I don't know anybody that plays anymore, honestly, that would like know anything about stuff like this. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably come back to it later. But like, maybe get some advice on stuff like this. Like, I'm sure that I can get a decent amount out of the 2012s. I'm not sure about the 2013s. I don't know how I would go about selling this because, again, I feel like this requires this to be sold together for like context, and I'm not really willing to sell this. Or like any of these, honestly. These like three down here. Even though they're like really expensive. Like the starters from like 2012, 2013, and some of 2014 are like ludicrously expensive. And as somebody that played during that time, I don't fully understand it. I guess collectors are they just do what collectors do best. I don't know. It's just, from the outside perspective, it's just very weird. But I just kind of let them do whatever they want to do. Okay, and we come back to this tab now. So we got my Zapdos here. His name is Ed. I found him in Route 5. Just, you know, casually after like a day and a half of nothing. My current joke at this moment is that I've conjured this by using my remaining shiny luck for the rest of the year, and this will come back to bite me in the rear. I don't know. He's cool. I don't really know anything about Zapdos. I need to like figure out, I guess, how to like use it. But for now, I'll just like I just like have it in storage. So now we get to these, right? These are my shinies. I only have 6 in the entire 11-ish. I would probably wager probably close to like 7 years, because I've taken breaks. As you can see from the playtime, I have taken breaks, tons of breaks. But I have these shinies, and I would have had 7. And this, to me, I think is the reason why my shiny luck is so cursed. I think the game is still trying to get back at me for doing this, but in 2012, I was EV training a Scyther that I had pestered global chat about getting, but we won't get into that. That's just, you know. So I was EV training a Scyther, and I wasn't really paying attention, right? I was EV training it at the Diglett tunnel to get like speed EVs, and actually this might have been like, no, it had to have been like 2012. Maybe I knew about like EVs, but I didn't know about IVs. Yeah, that sounds right. So, I was EV training it at the Diglett tunnel. Wasn't paying attention. Did my normal input after encountering a Diglett. Took a look at the screen after I had done that and noticed that it was shiny. The thing got instantly murked, right? So, I was upset. And rightly so, because, like, I don't know if you get, like, warnings for killing shinies? You might. I know you get, like, warnings now for running from them. I don't know if you get warnings for potentially insta-killing them. You might. But back then, you didn't have that. So, I was rightfully angry. That Scyther was boxed for probably a month after that, and then I released it. So that was 2012. And 3 years later, you know, Hoenn released, you know, good times. I was just, you know, doing my thing. I think I was looking for, like, because I was, like, really into Flygon at the time. I thought Flygon looked really cool, and I kind of wanted a Flygon that had decent stats. So I did what any normal person would do, and went to Route 111 to capture a bunch of Trapinches, and I came across this. And this is where I said we'll get to this, the item that it's holding. This is a Prism Scale. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't evolve Feebas like you think it would. It doesn't do anything. Let me show you. So I will take it off like this because, you know, but because, you know, I might accidentally, like, do something that I don't want to do. So this is the Prism Scale. The Prism Scale does nothing. You can give, you can toss, that's it. That's all this does. It's a useless trinket. So the story behind the Prism Scale is something that I don't think people have really talked about a whole lot. During the release week of Hoenn, or not Hoenn, Unova. During the release week of Unova, sorry. There was a very short time window where you could get Prism Scales from Undella. There was a spot in Undella Town, a little, like, a Pokeball loot location that you could get the Prism Scale at. Yeah, so slight correction on the Prism Scales location. It used to be on Route 13. I thought it was Undella, because, you know, they're, like, right next to each other, and they look vaguely similar to each other. Still, though, just a slight correction. And for the first, I think, like, day and a half, the Prism Scale, like, for the first, like, day and a half, everything in Unova that you picked up could be traded. That included the Prism Scale. After they did, like, an update and made everything, every new thing that a player picked up, they made it untradeable. They didn't retroactively go back and make the items that people already had untradeable, but what this meant was there was another very small window where players could get an untradeable Prism Scale. After that, like, I would say maybe, like, 2 days after that, they swapped out the item that they swapped out the item. I don't remember for what. Somebody with, like, a newer account could probably figure it out based on the black and white locations of where the Prism Scale should be. I think it's a full heal or a potion of some kind, but they swapped out what the item was, and so the Prism Scale probably isn't, like, the best example of it. It might not even be on here anymore. It is. So there's, like, this person selling this for this price. I don't think that's entirely right. Because this has been sitting there for a while. I don't think he'll actually get that price, but so this item is for reference, in RuneScape, there's a couple of items that are borderline useless, but they are expensive because they're rares. The best example that I can think of is the half full wine jug, which is an item that is effectively discontinued because they changed how the wine jug worked, rather than, like, they changed how the wine jug worked so that the wine jug was 1 use instead of 2, but they didn't remove the half-full jug from the 2 use, so people kept these. They're expensive because they're just like a weird novelty item. That's what the Prism Scale is. It's expensive because it's a weird novelty token item from the very beginning of Unova. Do I think it should be worth the amount that it is, which I think right now it's sitting probably closer to 14 mil. Do I think it's worth that? I mean, if someone's like collecting it, maybe, but like I think in the general scheme of things, I think that's overpriced. But I don't know, we'll see where that ends up at a year. But we'll go back to the Flygon. So I was looking for trap inches. I found this. I was very excited. And the cool fun fact about this Flygon is if you check the forum's shiny existence thread and you look at the Vibrava and Flygon, it is this one. It's not the Trapinch. Somebody has a Trapinch in the image list that is not my Trapinch, but the Vibrava and the Flygon are both mine. The Flygon's name, the OT on the Flygon is like blacked out. I don't know why they did that, because the Vibrava's isn't. It's like there's like multiple people that all like sent different images in, and so there's like a bit of a discrepancy there. But the Flygon and the Vibrava that are in the shiny existence thread, this is the Flygon. That's all I wanted to say about that. This has like a bit of history, I guess, in relation to the shiny existence thread. I have gotten some like, when I caught this, I got some like really interesting amounts of money offered for it, and I rejected it because I had killed a shiny before, and to me this shiny was especially, it's like a dragon type shiny. It's like a, my name is Dragon RS. It's a dragon type shiny. It's like a match made in heaven. But also, this shiny more than makes up for the Diglett that ended up dying. And to me, I think that's just like extremely cool. So that's that one. You get this. This is a Cloyster. There's not really a lot to say about this. I was grinding, farming for red shards. Yeah, I was farming for red shards in Vermilion? Yeah, because red shards were like really expensive. I don't know where they're at right now. I don't think... What are red shards at now? Yeah, How the Mighty Have Fallen. Those used to be like 30k each or something, 25 to 30k each. And now they're at this price point. They used to be like really expensive because you needed them for shard tutors. Something that I don't think people really need anymore. I think you need them for some things, but not like a lot of things. But I was shard hunting. I came across this. And, as a shelter, that was kind of neat. These two Pokemon, they're like a month apart, which is like really cool. So yeah, I got this while shard farming, and it's like somewhat usable. So I think some people would look at these shinies and wonder why they don't have any 31s, and the reason behind that is because newer shinies have the 31s. Older shinies, I think before like a certain date, I can't remember which date. Actually, it might be sometime in 2018, because I have some shinies in here that are from... I have some shinies that I think I caught before they did that change. The shinies before they made the 31 change were just completely random, so you would get like something like this which has no 31s, or something like this which has no 31s. And sometimes you'd find people that have caught shinies that are, like have crazy amounts of like good stats and stuff. That's not these ones. So that's 2015. I think we skip... So we'll go to the Whismur. I think we skip ahead 2 years? 2 years, yeah. So 2017 has started the trend of my journey, which has been going to Challenger's Cave to look for specific shinies. And I have not found the shinies that I want. No, every time I go to Challenger's Cave, ever since 2017, I found 2 shinies. Guess which ones they are. But this one is notable because I had left Challenger's Cave because I wanted to get field breeders for Pokemon, right? I went to Rust Earth Tunnel, you know, getting the field breeders that I normally get because Whismers are really nice. They're field monster. They work for dual use. And this abomination came up. His name is Ned, and he is an abomination to me. I don't actually hate him, but it's frustrating to me because, like, this, you know, I had just left Challenger's Cave. I was going to get a bunch of field breeders for a thing, and I run into this. It's not even remotely good. The only thing that, like, I gave it a bunch of, like, stupid moves. I named it a stupid name. I gave it this particle, the Punch and Stench, which is why I said I've used some particles on Pokemon, and this is one of them. He has had the Punch and Stench effect for a good while, and he has kind of become, when I caught him, he kind of became like a running joke of a Pokemon, which is why Ned 2 exists, because somebody, they hatched a 6-0 Whismer and mailed it to me. I think it's funny and kind of appropriate, but yeah, so that's Ned. He could have been something else, but he decided to be a Whismer. So that was the start of my journey in Challenger's Cave, getting like blue-balled by leaving. So I spent, God, is this 2017 as well? Yeah. So these 2 are from Challenger's Cave. We have this was a Boldore, but I think this was this a Horde? I think this might have been the Horde one. No, never mind, this one wasn't. So this was a single encounter Boldore. It doesn't have any 31s because, again, this is before that particular date. And it's not really anything, like, notable. I mostly just keep it because I like keeping one of every, I've only came across 6 shinies, but if I ever did find a duplicate, I would probably sell it for money. It's one of those weird moral questions of, do you sell the shiny because it's a duplicate, or do you keep it because it's a shiny? And I would probably end up selling a duplicate. It just depends on what the duplicate is. If it's like a duplicate Trapinch, no, I'm keeping that. But if it's like a duplicate Boldore, or we'll just move on to the Graveler. If it's like a duplicate Graveler, yeah, I'd probably sell it. This is Ted. He is also from Challenger's Cave. It's like really, like, so I picked Challenger's Cave because Challenger's Cave has like a bunch of really cool Pokemon in it. It's got, like, for shinies, it's got, like, you know, it's the obvious one's Riolu. Everybody wants a shiny Riolu. But it's also got Mawile and Sableye, which I really, really like those shinies. Lickitongue's alright. I wouldn't mind having a shiny Lickitongue, but the Mawile and Sableyes are just, they're really good. I like Sableye because he's like a gold gremlin, and Mawile is like pink. It's like a really good pink shiny. But so far in my adventures in Challenger's Cave, I have gotten Diamond Rock, and I have gotten Nugget. So not really a good streak there. So then we go 2 years dry again, because this game actively hates me. Slight correction, it was actually a year dry, not 2. And we end up back where we started. So 2019, I got bored of Challenger's Cave yet again, and I decided to go back to Route 111. I don't remember for what. I think it might have been more Trapinches, because I was gonna, like, breed like 31 Trapinches and, like, flip them. I don't remember. But the point is, I went back and I came across this wonderful little pumpkin. I actually really like this shiny. I think he's kind of cool. I've debated on evolving him, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just leave him the way he is. So this was 2019. You know, it's a 231, so I mean, but this is like, I think this is after the date. I think this one is after, I think this one is after the date that they changed the shiny thing. Maybe, I don't remember, but it does have a 31, so that kind of makes me wonder. But, you know, I think the shinies are like, they can have a minimum of 131. This one has 2. So yeah, that's pretty alright. I think Cacturn might be physical though, so that kind of sucks. Not that I would ever use it, because it's like, you know, it's whatever. It's fine. I just find it extremely funny that the first caught shiny that I have and the last caught shiny that I have, because I haven't found a shiny since. As I said, this game actively hates me. I just find it extremely funny that they're both from Route 111. I go back there occasionally because there's like the off chance that I might get the ball toy to go with it, but it hasn't happened yet. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about the Master Ball thing. So here's a Volcarona. This is the Volcarona that you get from the encounter. From like the encounter in what is it, Relic Castle or whatever. I got really desperate, okay? And I got like super desperate. I didn't want to kill it. So I ended up emergency Master Balling it because I ran out of Pokeballs. And that was not my finest moment. So I have 2. Did I ever get the one in... I don't think you can miss the one in Sinnoh, right? I don't know, I'll have to look later. But I'm either missing 2 Master Balls and I don't remember where the second one is, if I'm missing it. Or I just didn't get the other Master Ball. Not sure. I'll figure it out later. I'll like do some research. I might have used it and I don't remember what I would have used it on. No clue. Yeah, so I'm gonna like go now because I think I kind of went over everything that I wanted to go over. I think this is probably gonna end up being a one-off because like there's like some things that I could try to talk about, but like I don't think I can make it that interesting, but I would be better off like feeding this information to like other people and having them like tell things rather than me doing it personally. But I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna see how much of this I can actually condense because I feel like this is not gonna be like an easy thing to condense, which is gonna be really fun for me. Like future me to deal with, not like present me, but future me's gonna have a lot of fun dealing with this. Like I said, I'll figure out, like I kinda, like I said, I wanna like get certain things like priced, but I don't really know who to talk to because I'm not really like active with anyone. I'm not in like a team. I used to be in a bunch of teams, but all the teams that I was in went inactive. I think I probably could have made it into like one of the more popular teams a couple of times, and I just decided not to because, you know, I was in a team already and I didn't want to leave because they were like active at the time and they're not active now, so I'm not in a team at this point. But I don't know. I'm gonna go though. I'll figure all that out later. Maybe. Most likely. Probably not, though. Alright. Future me's gonna, like I said, future me's gonna have fun editing this. But, good night. Be back later with something, I'm not quite sure what yet. I thought about starting Hades. I don't want to quite go back to the Stalker mod list at the moment. It's not really like... I'm still like working on it because it's got like issues and stuff, so... Still working on that. But... And, like, Dead Cells is kind of... I don't know, I might go back to it, but I've been, like, trying to do the 3 boss cells thing, and it's, like, making me angry at this point. Like, angry and frustrated, which is not, like, a good combination. That's the same reason that I stopped playing Noita. I might go back to it, though. Because, I mean... If I get, like, lucky enough, I mean, I could probably just blitz past it, but, like... I don't know what 4 or 5 boss cells would do after that. Alright, I've wasted enough time. I'm gonna go.